Good afternoon, class. Today is Tuesday, May 19th. Let's get started with some language arts. Today, our musical mania is on the song Our Kind of Love from the musical A Beautiful Game. One of my favorite class jokes that ever developed was part of this song. So the first time, and I'll explain that as we go through kind of the questions. So the first time you listen through it, I want you to do our skip it and move on. So either read through the lyrics or listen and read through the lyrics. I'll post the video for Our Kind of Love on the Wiser Me page. Then the second time through, I want you to go through the song, and I want you to try to draw pictures that represent what's happening in the song as the people are singing. The third time you listen through it, I want you to think to yourself, what is keeping these two people apart who clearly want to be together? Okay, so if you're on this screen right here, I've assumed you've paused this video, you've either read through or listened to the song 3 times, and are now ready to attack these comprehension questions. The first question says, one phrase in the song, each love denied, leaves people colder. This is an or a metaphor for how people who are not allowed to fall in love, whatever reason, are left feeling angry and upset. B, it's a simile contrasting people who are in love with people who are not in love. C, it is a scientific fact how unless people are in the room, the temperature of that room is likely to drop. D, it is an analogy comparing kind people to people who are not kind. I'm going to give the answer in 3, 2, 1. The answer to this one is A. And the reason for that is if I go through this step by step, first of all, you need to think to yourself always when you're trying to determine, is this figurative language, is this literal language? You need to think, what would that look like if it actually happened that way? So let's say each love denied leaves people colder, right? If that was a scientific fact, that means if someone broke my heart, I would literally physically feel cold. Like I would need to be in front of a fire or need a jacket. So imagine like a Disney Channel movie or something that you like and think to yourself, what would happen if every time someone said, I don't love you, and then they were like, now I'm cold. Is that what happens? No. So therefore, that is literal language, not figurative, if it couldn't actually happen that way. So simile, is there like or as in this sentence? No, so I can automatically cross off B and C. It's an analogy comparing kind people to people who are not kind. So this quote isn't really talking about people being kind or unkind. It's really just about a metaphor comparing it and saying each love denied, each time people are not allowed to fall in love, for whatever reason, it makes them colder, it makes them meaner, it makes them more angry, it makes them more upset. Question number 2. The singer of the song is most likely going to A, break off her relationship, B, cause someone else to break off their relationship, C, be ashamed of whom she fell in love with, or D, continue to love despite the challenges that await her. I'm going to give the answer in 3, 2, 1. The answer to this one is D. And the reason for this one is all of the other 3, A, B, and C, kind of talk about her breaking off the relationship. And there's a specific line in the song, if you listen to it the right number of times and you really were paying attention, that says, I will cling to him with all my might. It's my right. So she says that she's going to stay with him no matter what, right? All kinds of love bring us together. And I think this song is perfect for the COVID-19 quarantine because I think in a way we need to keep ourselves separate, but we all need to do this together, right? We all need to keep holding on to that love. And as much as I was going to do this song during Valentine's Day and never got to it, this is perfect for this kind of year and the openness and the things that we need to keep in mind. Number 3, the question answered in stanza 5 is A, why does the singer love the person whom she is singing about? B, why can't the singer and the person she loves be together? C, why is love important in the world? Or D, what effect can love have on a society? So when I look at stanza 5, this is the kind of final one that says, I am in love, no one can blame me, such is my story and my fate. My kind of love will never shame me. My love is stronger than their hate. I shall cling to him with all my might. It's my right. So which of those questions is answered by that text? It's not really A. I don't think it ever explains in the song why they can't be together. why, I'm sorry, it's not B. It doesn't really tell us why she loves the person that she's singing about. And I think it's really showing us C. Why is love important to the world? And again, I can't say this enough. Keep this song in your heart during this time of the coronavirus. This is difficult. I'm going to be honest with you. This has been one of the most difficult things for me to do as a teacher, as a wife, as a dog parent, as a daughter, as a student. This is a really difficult time. And so keep love in the front of your mind, whatever kind of love that is. Call the people who need to be called, appreciate the people who need to be appreciated, and keep that always in the front of your heart and your mind. Number 4, which of the following best presents a possessive personal noun? Alliteration, right? Possessive personal pronoun. So I'm going to give the answer in 3, 2, 1. The answer is C, my. How can I eliminate the first two automatically? A, the is an article, so it can't be it. B, only is a preposition, so that can't be it. My and him are the only pronouns. So which one of these sounds like possessive, like it has some kind of ownership? If I say my book, that makes sense. Him book, that doesn't make sense. So it's not possessive. So the correct answer is C, my. The singer says it's not a game. In this instance, it refers to what? Life, fashion, hatred, or love. Take each of those, plug them back into the sentence, and see which one makes sense. I'm going to give the answer in 3, 2, 1. The answer is D, love. Love is not a game. And that's kind of what she repeats over and over and over again. Kind of some middle school word for you is that whenever we repeat a word over and over and over again, like love, 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 that is a motif. So fun fact. Number 6, this singer is most likely to do what after the ending of this song? This is totally up to you to answer in your own way. The funny story I have that happened with this particular song is last year, actually, I was talking with my students and I asked them, what do you think is separating these two people being together? And I've never seen The Beautiful Game, but most of the songs revolve around one particular conflict. And so I asked the students and they were saying like war and, like maybe, there's different kinds of relationships. Maybe it's an interracial relationship, whatever. And The Beautiful Game is actually about two opposing soccer teams, believe it or not. And that sets off, I think, the difference between these two people. And as far as I know, that's why they can't be together. And what's funny is one of my students who's from Bolivia and is very into soccer. If you know anything about soccer, you know that Argentina, Bolivia, Uruguay, those are really good teams. He was like, oh, no. Soccer is absolutely a good reason not to love someone. And so that has just kind of always stuck with me. What we determine as a deal breaker just depends from person to person. And to realize that different things are differing importances to different people. So let's go over the answers to Mudshark, chapters 6 and 7. What characterization points can you figure out about the custodian based on what he has in his room and what he asks the parent in other events? The custodian is very dedicated. He works nights, weekends, and holidays to try to control the crawfish situation. He adds a lot of humor to the story, especially in the principal's PA announcements. He also must be really into art and kind of like cultured kind of person. Number 2, what do you think of the crime? What would you do if you were Mudshark? Do you think the school would be a better place if we got rid of all erasers? So this will kind of vary. I kind of think the school would not be better without erasers. I'm always looking for an eraser, but I kind of see the metaphor that the custodian is trying to create. Number 3, what do you think the game Death Ball is like? Make up some rules. Why do you think this game is so important to the school and the story? Your answers will vary based on what you think Death Ball is like, but Death Ball is clearly important to the overall culture of the school. They talk about students focusing on Death Ball and nothing else. It's how Mudshark got his nickname. It's clearly very violent. They've tried to cancel it many times in the school's history. For vocabulary, engrossed means A, concentrating or focused. Meek means C, sorry or quiet. Undecipherable means B, unable to be read or understood. Thrusting means A, shoving. And inventoried means A, surveyed. Okay, so our work for today is on the setting. Remember, setting includes more than just the place, even though that's probably the first thing you think of. So, a setting is where the story takes place. It composes many different things. Fill in each of the setting aspects for this story. Be sure to include evidence from the text. So, what time period does this take place in? How do you know? What's the location that this takes place in? Don't just say the school, be specific. Are we sure that this story doesn't take place in Australia, for example? What country is it likely in? What state? Is it in a city or is it rural? Just kind of get that. What time of year is this taking place? How do you know? And what's the tone or mood or emotion that the story gives you? Okay. For chapters 8 and 9, number 1, this is what we are reading today, and it's also what we're filling out. In the quote on page 55, it says, and then people expect a blackboard to be erased. They don't mind, and erasing mistakes is good because you can keep going, trying to figure out the solution. And solving things, that's kind of beautiful. Well, I think so anyway. I like figuring things out. What do you think this quote means, and what lesson is the author trying to teach us? Number 2, where is the missing gerbil, and why is it there? Number 3, what are your final predictions about the mystery? How is Mudshark going to use Toby to solve his problem? Number 4, can you relate to any of the characters or experiences in the book? Our vocabulary today says circle the word that best defines the underlined word from the chapter. Thank you. Oh yes, and the gerbil has allegedly been cornered in the science lab room. Allegedly means A, identified, B, certainly, C, hopefully, or D, supposedly. Number 2, the area within 15 feet of the door of the faculty restroom defined by a yellow warning tape has been declared a hazardous material zone. Does hazardous mean beautiful, safe, crazy, or dangerous? Number 3, he watched Toby eat sirloin that she hand-fed to him while he reclined on a purple satin cushion that had his new name, Mr. Cuddles. Does reclined mean sat up, sat back, was on edge, or happy? Thank you, Lyle, for helping me with my groceries, she said, brushing the surprisingly docile Mr. Cuddles. Docile means calm, upset, violent, or dangerous. Thank you so much for tuning in with me for Language Arts, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.